Hello everyone, Dr. Gerald Vargas here. I get asked a few questions about TMJ and what is actually going on when the jaw starts to click. So the first part is we have the upper area here of the brown bone here, which is called the temporal fossa, which is where the jaw actually sits in. So I'm going to open this up, I'll take the jaw off, and it's this space that sits under here. So that space is the temporal fossa. So if we reconnect the jaw, and then within the jaw you have the condyle, which is the part of the bone, part of the jaw, the jaw that allows the jaw to be able to open and close. So as we open, the jaw will rotate forward to about 25 millimeters, and then we get translation of a further 25 millimeters. And in between the condyle and the fossa, we have a disc, which is a biconcave structure, which allows the jaw, the condyle, to be open and closed properly. Now, one of the things I want you to become familiar with is this diagram here, where we can see the relationship between the disc, the condyle, and the fossa. And in a normal situation, you have this biconcave structure which is sitting between the condyle and the fossa. One of the things that we want to see is that that relationship is maintained during mouth opening and mouth closing. So during normal mouth opening and closing, what should happen is this disc should actually be in close proximity to the condyle as it starts to rotate forward for the first 25 mils, and then you'll see a part of the movement which is more translatory. And that relationship should be able to be maintained during complete mouth opening and mouth closing. In situations where we start to have a problem now between the relationship of the disc to the fossa, you start to develop a poor relationship now between the disc and the condyle, and in particular in the way that the condyle moves as it opens beyond 25 millimeters. So one of the things we start to see is the disc now starts to sit forward to the condyle, and as it rotates, what should happen is that the clicking of what you're hearing is actually the disc actually relocating back onto the condyle, and that's what actually creates the click. So when we open our mouth and we hear a click, what that is that disc relocating back onto the condyle. During mouth closing, if we hear another click, what that is now the disc coming back off the condyle. So the secret, or the general rule of thumb, is we want to, with any clicking, we want to maintain that disc being as long as possible being maintained within and on top of that condyle, because the shorter the period, the more laxity you have within the disc itself. So really what we want to see is that disc being reduced back onto the condyle and being maintained there, and that's really the goal with any form of TMJ clicking that you're starting to experience. I hope this information has been of use. If you'd like to comment, or feel free to check out a link below. Thanks again.